Okay, so take your time and wrap up. Because it's already half and a couple of people are already tuned in, I'm just going to introduce what we're doing here and stop the music. And then we can do the round and just present what we have right now. So for everybody who's watching the live stream, I hope you can hear and see everything. Welcome. Thank you for making it, or glad you made it.
Okay.
All
right.
There is some reverb somewhere.
Oops.
Is that me?
Andrea, I think you're muted. Hear me? Hello?
Now it should be better, I think.
Andrea, I think you're muted.
God damn it, I'm already talking like... Okay, so sorry. So yeah, because it's already half past, let's quickly wrap up. I just muted the music
Okay.
already. And just for everybody who's watching in the live stream, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks that glad that you made it. And I'm just gonna go and reiterate everything that we've done, so everybody, you can just like finish up your screenshots and drag them into the board in the meantime, and then we'll just do the round of presenting. So for everybody who's watching or watching this later, the recording or whatever, welcome to the Hummingbot Sprint. We've already did a lot of work, so most of what we've done was basically the collaborative sessions before. So we've been online for 3.5 hours now, and the way this started was basically Michael, the handsome man in the top left, is the CEO of Hummingbot, and we're basically designing a new interface for a web app that's supposed to monitor or like supposed to show you everything that you're doing on the Hummingbot trading bot, which is this thing right here. I installed it, so it's a CLI command line interface, and basically in order to understand how Hummingbot is trading, what kind of markets and trading pairs it's running. It's actually, so yeah, for those who don't know what it is at all, this is a trading bot. So it lets you use your money and put it on different exchanges in order to trade back and forth and provide you with a return, but also provide the tokens and projects that you're investing in with enough liquidity. And that's, I guess, in short, what it is. And we're basically trying to figure out how to design the best interface for monitoring it online. So we started off with just mainly talking about what it's going to be, and so to bring everybody up to speed and understand what it's like or what it's supposed to be, figure out what are the biggest challenges in that. So as you can see here, one of the biggest things was deciding on a suitable information architecture. So where do we put everything? This is kind of one of the main UX problems. Not thinking about anything visual, just about how to prioritize information and show them to the right people. And then a couple of other things like, you need to see how much you get paid, you need to discover profitable markets, etc. So there's a couple of things. I mean, you can read them, stop the video and read through them if you're interested. Then we went and kind of solidified that into a long-term goal. This is kind of I guess vague. It's not vague. It's probably a very precise statement that might seem a little bit vague, but it's actually just for us later to always be able to refer to it if we start diverging from the actual goal. So this is kind of just a guideline, a guiding star into what we're working on. And then we've decided on 3 kind of challenges that we call them sprint questions, that would basically keep us from reaching that goal. Decided on that, and then with all of that, started basically mapping out everything, the whole process of what users, from a user's perspective, or from actually different users' perspective, what's happening, like what is the process that they're going through, in order to understand where we need to place the most effort and what are the details that we need to figure out. So sometimes in this flow, you discover a lot of like tiny little things that you didn't even think about before, or understand the big picture of this whole thing even better. So like that's kind of what it is. So from here, you can see like the whole flow. This is actually a pretty simple one, so there's way more complex ones that we'll probably show in the future. But this is like a rough one, so we're like, starting with the discovery, onboarding, setting up the whole thing, and then running and tracking, and then goes to goal of just checking back every now and then. So, and then based on this, what we just did for the last half hour is we collected some research and tried to answer these sprint questions in our own way. So we did some research online of what already exists and which projects might solve similar problems, and kind of find the things that are interesting and that we can use UI-wise in order to create our own concepts. So what's going to happen next is that we'll basically take all of these individually and then merge them into one big concept. So I can just maybe start with mine. I don't have that many, but they might be kind of, yeah, UI-wise nice to see. And then we can just do the round. This is probably going to take them, like, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes or so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool. Yeah?
So Andrew, so do you want us to kind of like individually go and basically explain like why our research is relevant and
Yes.
which parts we like and we don't like?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, everybody's gonna try and explain why exactly you think what you've researched applies to the long-term goal and the sprint questions here. So the goal of it is to kind of understand everybody's point, everybody's suggestions of what's cool, but like, what they know that we might not, like what you might not know. So I'm just gonna go through mine quickly. I only have 3 examples. One of them I had to censor a little bit. Actually, it's 4 examples. One of them I had to censor a little bit because that's something that we've worked before, and I don't think it's released yet. So we might not show everything. I hope I covered all the important bits. So the first one, that's kind of a classic. I draw attention to that every now and then. In this case, that's Coinbase. And the reason why I picked that in this case was because of this like super simple overview of what kind of which tokens exist or which currencies exist. They're kind of doing this like our goal is to show, or like one of our goals is to show the right trading pairs and to kind of minimize that. So that might be something that creates awareness and interest in what trading pairs could be good investing in or like running the bot on. But that's just like a very, very basic overview. The other bit that I was looking at was from Ledger Live. I just like their monitoring interface because it's super basic. It only shows you. They actually spend real screen real estate on just saying good evening and making it like super easily to understand what's your total balance and what your assets are like. So that's like, it's almost like this holding interface, the monitoring for holding your coins, and just basically reading out your smart contract. The next one is a project that we've been working on, which is almost like, oh yeah, thanks. Which is basically showing actually several different parts, but that's as opposed to actually just holding. This is for staking. So it's a whole interface for staking your tokens in different projects. This one is an example for one specific project, but everything is like kind of just showing what is the status with everything that you're doing, and yeah, kind of an overview of your progress. It's also kind of basic, but it has a lot of information. So like, I think this is even too complex for us in our case because we don't have that much information, obviously. I mean, except if you want to like show a heat map of all the nodes that are running.
Yeah, no, yeah, this is pretty cool. I like this one. Also, yeah, you may want to edit this. You may want to edit this a little bit later.
Yeah, I probably have to.
Identifying information here.
Oh yeah, right. Okay. That might be. So yeah, I'm yeah, right.
Especially at the day of launch, I know that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but this is amazing work, guys. quite relevant.
Okay, thanks. So this is something that we can definitely steal from.
Okay.
And then the third one is Tails. Is it third one? No, fourth. Sorry. So the fourth one is Tails. I was trying to think of something that has a good onboarding or fluent onboarding experience. Tails. Um, don't ask me why I need that. Um, Tails is basically
What is Tails?
so Tails is a an operating system that's basically self-erasing, and it doesn't
Okay.
maintain any data that you're like no browsing data, no like
Oh,
IP
cool.
tracking data, and basically if anybody would find your computer with Tails on it, they wouldn't be able to tell what you've done on it. So it's like it every reboot it completely erases itself, apart from like
Oh, I see.
two three websites that password protected.
Yeah.
But
Cool.
but the complicated thing about this is that you need to install it in a very like
Yeah.
weird way. So you need to
Right.
put Tails on one USB stick, then reinstall, then install it, then restart, then install another Tails from the Tails that you've installed, and only then you have a really clean version of it. And I just kind of like that process because it was really stupidly simple to follow, even though it's so complex. And they kind of
Right.
explain everything step by step, like really simply, more or less. So this like, I mean, it's a lot of steps, but it goes through them actually quite nicely. I think there's also like
Right.
some command line stuff later on, but that's like even for someone who's never seen that before, that's probably going to be super easy to follow. Okay, sorry, that took a long time. I should have
Cool.
blabbed too much. That was from me.
Uh, cool.
Uh,
You guys want I can go next if you want.
yeah,
Just
if you like, sure.
um, so yeah, mine's actually down below here.
Cool.
It's like so I did two, and so the part that I focused on was really the onboarding piece because I think one thing that came out of our initial discussion is that I think one of the challenges with onboarding with this one is that the people are going to sign in through the web, and they're going to kind of like understand discover and understand what it's like through the website. But then when they're actually doing stuff to actually earn money, they're doing so in the Hummingbot client, which is a separate desktop application that they're going to need to install and configure and set up. And they're kind of going back to the web app to see how much money they've made and all that kind of stuff. So I tried it I think so I did two. The first I did was SparkPool, which is a cloud mining platform. I think one great point Philip brought up is that this actually is very analogous to cloud mining. And in fact, a lot of the users, it's called liquidity mining. So a lot of the users are going to come from that world. And so they're probably familiar with some cloud mining experiences already. The second one I did was Lolly, which is like a Bitcoin earning app where you can install the Chrome extension and earn money by shopping at various sites. So in terms of SparkPool, let me actually see. Okay, so
do you want to share your screen actually? Maybe.
Do you want to share my screen or?
Yeah, maybe that's easy then to follow just what your thoughts are.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
I'll just make it.
Sure.
Awesome.
Okay. All right. So with SparkPool, so I would say overall, I think users are already familiar with UX. I also picked this because I think there's quite a lot of room for improvement. No offense if anyone's from SparkPool, but I kind of went through the flow myself, and I'll share just firsthand user experience what I observed. The first is that the main homepage is, I think, this construct of having a headline at the top and lots of different markets down below is something that's very familiar with people in the crypto world. And so there's some information here, I guess, that tells you how much money you can make with stats in these different pools. I actually don't really understand quite this, and I was trying to click on them, but none of these are actually expandable, which is, I thought it was a little weird. Down below, there's a start mining one. If you click the explore button, it takes you to some kind of interface, which I think this is what it actually looks like. I also found this interface quite confusing as well, because there's a dummy ETH address and information about income and workers and a lot of jargon, which I just didn't understand, not being a cloud miner myself. If you click on start mining, it kind of goes to this guide that explains how it works. And then you have to click on this button to create sub account here, which takes you to a login page, where you go to the standard like email login flow, and after this flow, it takes you back here. And then I clicked around for a while trying to figure out how to like actually do this, and I was really confused. So overall, I would say I think Sparkpool is actually very analogous in a way because people are going to be familiar with the experience. But and I think there are some things here we're talking about, like onboarding, setup, registration, and then like actually seeing the interface. But I think we can improve on this quite a lot. The second one was Lolly. Lolly is kind of similar in that it's like basically there's a tracking app versus the app you actually use to do stuff and earn stuff. So their first discovery page, the primary call to action is for you to install their application, and the second one is I guess this button called Shop. If you click install, it goes to the Chrome extension installation page. If you click Shop, it goes to this page here that shows you this is kind of like their app interface. So this is the Chrome extension. If you follow the Chrome extension flow and finish that part, it also puts you back into this main app interface over here. And then from here, I think you're encouraged, I guess, click on one of these shop icons, go to Harry's where you say, you're earning like 27% Bitcoin. And I'm guessing once you start earning these rewards, then in the app itself, there's an account tab and an activity tab that shows you kind of like your progress. But overall, I think obviously Lolly it's a very consumer type of use case, but I think they've actually, I would say this flow that Lolly has is kind of like I think what something like Sparkpool should try to create. But the Sparkpool right now, I would say it's like it's the steps are there, but it just feels, I would say, pretty confusing for someone who's not already a cloud miner. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, that's nice. That's really cool. Also, I like that you've kind of went through what you didn't like about your experience with Sparkpool. I think that's super helpful to know.
Sure.
Cool. Who wants next? Philip or Charlie? I don't care. Charlie.
Happy to go. Yeah.
Do you also want to share your screen?
Yeah, we'll do. Also.
Sorry, I didn't share mine before. I should have probably done that.
Cool. Is that sharing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think my things are a little bit more broad. I really struggled to find an actual really good staking user flow. But looking at specific parts of what you do, so different markets, I just looked at how, I think this is Compound, shows the different types of return and what information, so supply and the APR. I said a look at stake and just how it compared different things here over yield and additional information, and then a call to action on each one. One thing was coming soon. I thought this might be relevant for this as you add in more pairings for this kind of like marketing and landing page. I had a little look at Binance's landing page for staking. I didn't think this was very good actually because it didn't really, none of this information really stood out. This seems to be like the key piece of information, but it's the same hierarchy as minimum holdings, which doesn't seem that as an important and engaging. And there's nothing really that makes me want to click through on this, but it was just worth having a look at. And when you click deposit now, it goes to a login page to get you set up. So I guess it's kind of showing you the interesting parts and then go straight to login. Cool landing page. Just was looking at C tokens on Compound. How it works was just in 3 stages, and then they kind of had this graph interface showing the potential returns. I thought that was kind of cool. And then need help, frequently asked questions, which I kind of guess for this is quite a new concept. We're probably going to have that kind of long form question for somebody who's very interested but wants a lot of information. It almost feels like an FAQ on this kind of partner page would actually make a sense, but to then to capture those who really are interested to go into the details, rather than say a docs page or hiding it away.
Good call.
And I was just looking at different ways of then, once you then set up a bot, which then happens in the application rather than this kind of web app, different monitoring pages. So this one here was just from Simple. This is someone else's account and they've hidden the balances, but I just liked how it had a balance, earnings, performance. So big details on the bottom. It had this risk tolerance as well. I thought that was kind of interesting as well. I'm not sure if this is relevant here. And then it had a graph to kind of show the activities, and then the holding. So different things. This might be relevant to, say, the different bots if you're running. I thought that was quite cool. Just a little demo. I liked how just showing how it was empty and give a call to action as well if you were to go through this as a flow.
That's pretty cool.
And it just kind of gives you like what you could earn, which also kind of relates to this one actually with Compound. So you can show us supplying. So this is quite cool. So it shows up supplying dye. I've made a total of 10 cents. Sorry, no, I've made a fraction of a cent. And it also shows you what's also available underneath. So say you've gone in and you've used Hummingbot once on one trading pair, there's an option at the bottom maybe. And I just had a look at Robinhood for their summary account page, just how they show this. And it shows a withdrawable cash balance as well at the bottom. Yeah, cool.
Sweet.
That's it.
That's really nice. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Philip, are you still alive?
Yeah. So
cool.
I've just somehow I dropped out of the session. I don't know. Yeah. So to make it short, I also had a few projects that were already mentioned. So I unfortunately I can't share my screen. Oh, I can actually. It does it right now. Need to find out which is the right one.
Oh, yeah, no, that's it.
Is it that? No, that's.
Yep.
Well, you're drawing now.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. I think you're sharing the screen right now. Looks like.
Yeah.
So I think you should zoom out. It's
That's
probably
from
like
a different window.
the area of the screen is shared. Yeah.
I need to select a different one. Which is this one? This one?
Yes,
Let's
that
get that
looks
one.
good. Yeah.
So
Ooh.
I also had Spark Pool, which I actually didn't put on here because I saw that someone that Michael, I guess it was you, that you already put it on. So but Spark Pool also has this Cosmos staking pool, and one interesting aspect is also that you basically, when you are on the landing page, it just shows you, just give you a brief overlook on basically the yield, and directly a call to action, delegate now, just you enter your address and then you download the tool, which is pretty similar to what the experience could look like in the Hummingbot app. So that you basically put in an address and then you download and it's pre-configured. Another one is nice hash, which is basically a pool, but also a way where you can a mining pool, but also a way where you can rent out mining hash power. Basically, what I like about this is this three-step process, which they emphasize on their landing page. You create an account, that you download your the mining software, and then start mining. So basically, their process is really that you sign up, and then you have the different kind of activities in the dashboard where you can basically configure and monitor the mining rigs. And so two other examples, which I guess Compound was already mentioned, so I skip over that. And the other one is Dharma, which is interesting in the regards that it's really focused on reducing the steps needed in order to taking part into or taking advantage of gaining interest. Let's put it this way. So you really just need to have a Coinbase account. You can basically there's one screen in between which I couldn't capture afterwards, which is just put in your Coinbase account data, and then you end up in this situation where you are given an address where you need to deposit, and it shows you what kind of interest rate you gain, which is also pretty straightforward and reduced all the different kind of steps that's to get involved. And yeah, Compound was the other example, but I guess we already went over it. So I guess the interesting point, what I observed basically, and why I selected those 4 different ones, is that it feels like that the user experience for this Hummingbot is somewhere in between a mining pool and basically a landing protocol, landing platform where you gain interest on it. And maybe also staking. And somewhere in between it is. So yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, cool. Thank you. These are really good. All right. Yeah, with this, basically, we're finished for today's session. Just before we head out and go to sleep or follow through the day, I can mention what's going to happen next. Also, for everybody who's watching, that is basically part 1 of a 3-day thing. So tomorrow what we'll do is we'll basically take, or later, take all of these references and try to draw on paper our own versions of what we think would be a good interface for a flow that kind of resembles what we've drawn before in the map section. So kind of understanding the most necessary steps and sketching them out on paper by combining all the information and all the examples that we gathered to steal from. And so kind of putting it all together, creating our own versions, every one of us. And what we'll also do tomorrow is we'll vote on the most interesting ones. So tomorrow I'll show you how that looks. For now, and the session for tomorrow, the live session for tomorrow, will be basically kind of summing up what we've done, and then we'll go through an exercise, like a collaborative exercise, stuff that you haven't seen yet, which is how we actually did the first 3 hours of this thing, but in a pretty quick session for creating a user journey collaboratively. And then on Wednesday, we'll do the storyboard, which is combining everything all together. Mike, you can probably, sorry.
Just to chime in, because I know this is part of the live stream. I just want to give it a little more context to the folks who are watching as to why we're doing this. Typically when we work with designers, and this is traditionally, the designers kind of go off and spend a lot of time researching. They basically do UX research, look at other examples, and try to come up with a mix of usually it's sometimes called an artboard, sometimes it's called a mock-up, but basically the designers are usually tasked with creating the initial mock-ups. And I think from a client perspective, it's always it's in some ways this process is kind of inefficient because as a client, we know who the users should be. We have a lot of information in terms of how this thing that we're designing, what it should do, right? But then sometimes we find that when we just in the traditional model where the designers go off and just do research, they spend weeks, sometimes. We come back and even then it's not quite exactly what you kind of wanted because the client has all this information they're not actually delivering to the designers. So to me, I think the main benefit of these design sprints is really to get everyone in a room and make it collaborative so that like we're all doing that research together, and we're all kind of like involved with the process of creating that initial mock-up or trying to figure out like the purpose of what we're trying to build. And so not only does that shorten the process significantly, but also from the client's perspective, you feel like you're actually investing in the process. You know, we can have right now it's just us, but when we've done this in the past, we've had other members of the team, you know, also contribute. And so it's faster, it's more collaborative, and I think you also end up with a better product at the end of the day.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
You're the best, Mike.
I didn't that. Thank you.
Cool, yeah, and it's super fun. So I really like working together with everybody because everybody's voice gets heard, and you can, you know, you make it really enjoyable. All right, yeah. So like for later or for tomorrow, Mike, you can basically, if you like, you can draw your concept today already. Depends on what your availability is. We have the time scheduled in for tomorrow, which is 2 hours starting from the same as today. So if you don't have time, we'll just do it tomorrow, and I'll guide you through the steps again.
Okay. Yeah. I will actually from my side. I can probably just work on the actual concepts before tomorrow. Do you want me to do that, or do you want to? Okay. Sure.
Whatever is easier for you, really. It doesn't really make a difference. So
okay. Yeah. I mean, I think I'm happy to do it today. Just that makes this hopefully that'll make it a little more efficient for us to.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. As long as you can set yourself a timer for 2 hours so you don't like overspend time.
Yeah.
Just because I know that if you sit at home and you do it and or wherever, and you don't have a timer, then you end up doing it for about 5 hours instead of 2.
Right.
And
oh yeah. Okay. Don't worry. I will. I'm very good at time blocking.
Okay. Good.
So, yeah. I'll spend a maximum 2 hours on that.
Awesome. Good to hear.
Cool.
Okay, cool. And yeah, for everybody else from European time zone, we'll just probably do it tomorrow morning. Or if you like, you can also do it today, but it's like super late.
So that means that by 6 o'clock we should have the sketches done. Is that the plan?
By 8 p.m. European time.
8 p.m.
Yes.
8 p.m. European time we have the sketches.
But we'll sync up tomorrow at 6 o'clock and just see where everybody is. So if someone's not finished, we'll just do it from 6 to 8.
Okay.
All right, sweet.
That's good.
Thank you so much, and enjoy your day, and have a great night, and then see you tomorrow.
Okay. All right. Bye.
Cool. Bye-bye. Thanks for everything.
Bye.